Meeting to order, the Sebastopol Planning Commission, November 14th, 2023. And start with roll call.
Thank you. Commissioner Ottinger. Commissioner Hanley.
Present.
Vice Chair Fritz.
Here.
And Chair Fernandez.
Here.
And Commissioner Burns is not in attendance at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Item number 2, comments from the public on items that are not on tonight's agenda. Do we have anyone that would like to make a comment on a non-agenda item?
And since we do have members in the audience as well as the Zoom format, I'll just go over how we do that here, which is anyone who'd like to make a public comment for an item not on the agenda in the room can go ahead and step up to the podium, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes. We do have a timer on the screen behind you. If you are on Zoom and you'd like to make a comment, you can use the features to raise your hand, and we'll see it in the chat, and we'll go ahead and unmute you. Okay, I'm seeing none. Chair Fernandez.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment on non-agenda items. And moving on to item number 3, any statements conflict of interest? Okay, don't see any. All right, item number 4, approval minutes of May 23rd, 2023. Does anyone have any changes or additions? Go ahead, Paul.
I just had one very small clarification on page 6. And this is about the middle of the page, Carrie Sponstrom, Planning Director. And it said, the rate reads as I'm going to restrict that whole 3A thing to be more than one sentence. I think it maybe is like restructure. That makes more sense. I mean, restricting to be more sounds.
Yes,
odd.
restructure, restructure.
Restructure. That was all.
Okay, any others? Okay.
And Chair Andrea, I'll remind you to press your button. Thank you.
I move we approve the minutes of May 23rd, 2023.
I'll second.
Okay. We have,
And to clarify for the record, that's as amended.
As amended.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, call for the
Okay,
vote.
we'll do a roll vote. Commissioner Ottinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Abstain.
Vice Chair Fritz,
Yes.
and Chair Fernandez.
Yes.
Okay, that passes with 3 ayes, and 1 abstention, and 1 absent.
Okay, thank you. All right, item number 5, A, 6731 Sebastopol Avenue, conditional use permit for Animal Kingdom.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. So this is a conditional use permit application from Michael Waldo on behalf of the Animal Kingdom Veterinary Hospital to operate an animal hospital office only at 6731 Sebastopol Avenue. Currently, Dr. Waldo is operating the Animal Kingdom at 6742 Sebastopol Avenue, which is right across the street, where he's been in operation for 22 years. The current facility has poor access to the front door and limited parking, and to better accommodate an aging and injured clients and their owners, he has been exploring relocation options and is requesting to relocate his practice to the Western Suite in 6731 Sebastopol Avenue, which was formerly occupied by Action Sports and Power Equipment. As mentioned above, this project requests a conditional use permit for the operation of an animal hospital office only, as it is a conditionally permitted use in the downtown core zoning district of Sebastopol. Dr. Waldo also mentions in his written statement the hours of operation would be Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. with no overnight boarding. The written statement also explains why Dr. Waldo is looking for a new location, which includes a stair-free entrance for his clients and their animals, safer parking, and a bigger space to operate. With that, I will conclude my staff report, and I am available to answer any questions. And the applicant is also here in attendance tonight, should the commission have any questions for that.
Okay, let's start with questions of staff. I just have one. So the current location is zoned strictly commercial. or the current location that they're in?
I'm going to double check, but I think it's, yes, it's currently zoned the commercial industrial.
Okay. And I guess at one point, it was a house. So I'm not sure what the future is of it. I'm just wondering if it's convertible or not, or if they would have to, whether they have to go through. Not that anybody's interested. I'm just asking a question.
Sure. So it's commercial industrial, which is the same zoning as most of the Barlow.
Mhm.
The house itself is actually I believe it's probably a historic structure. It is in our historic survey that the city had done by the Historic Society and a couple of architects about a decade or so ago, or a couple decades ago. So that obviously would be taken into consideration. So it's a vet clinic now. It could do any sort of commercial use in it that they wanted to. I believe the CI zone would restrict it from being office, though, unless they were to get a conditional use permit to continue that kind of office use. So to continue a non-conforming use would require that.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so at this time, invite the applicant. If it has any comments, you can go up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Michael Waldo, and I've been at the current location for 22 years.
Michael, real quick, can you make sure the microphone is on? Just press the press button there.
Okay. Let me repeat that. My name is Michael Waldo, and I've been at the current location for about 22 years, been a member of the community for 25 years. Both my boys went through Waldorf and Annaly High School, and I've been very fortunate to be, a member of the community and where I'm at. I've been thrilled with it. And just like, John Jay was saying, is, having parking that is actually, you can actually park more than 5 cars is a big bonus, but also the stairs. I hear that every day, especially with the bigger dogs or people carrying their cats and the carriers and that sort of thing. And this would alleviate that. And it's tough seeing clients I've had for a long time and they come to conclusions like, I can't make it up here anymore. Even though I try to accommodate them in the parking lot, it's just, sometimes it's not possible. And plus it's every so often I'm sitting at my desk and I hear someone hit my house. It happens more than you think. So, but it's like bumper cars out there. So just having just more room, and I've outgrown that space also. I love the house, I don't have any plans for it at all right now. I just, that's about it. But
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, any
for me,
questions
Director?
from commissioners? No? Okay, no, great. Thank you for your
Okay.
comments.
Okay, thank you.
All right, at this point, I'm going to open up for public comment. Anyone would like to make a comment on this agenda item?
Sure. And so any members of the public who would like to make a comment, you can come up to the podium. If we do have commenters online, please raise your hand virtually and we will unmute you. Okay, I am not seeing any
Okay.
comments.
I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to commission for any comments, questions, deliberation, or motions.
I move that we approve the use permit as applied for. I have no suggested revisions to any conditions or any of the language of the ordinance. So.
Okay.
And I second the motion.
Okay. So first and second, is there any further discussion on it? Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good idea, and I'm glad that you found something close by that works for you. Okay, call for the question.
Sure. Commissioner Ottinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fritz,
Aye.
and Chair Fernandez.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes 4-0. There is a 7-day appeal period, and after that time, you can actually start the use, since it's a use permit. If you need a building permit to build out, that's the time when they would be able to issue that as well. Given the lack of controversy, if you do want to submit a building permit for those improvements before then, that's at your risk. But obviously there's, like I said, I'm not a risk assessment, but I think you can probably read the room on that one.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
I know when we had that dog grooming, place downtown, we talked about maybe, looking at the use permit requirements, and I just wonder if this could be, this kind of use, is that the same kind of use, the dog grooming and veterinary, is that all kind of the same?
Yeah, it's the same use category. So that would be one of those ones that the commission did mention to maybe look at doing a lower level approval, whether it's planning director or
Okay.
something
Thanks.
smaller.
Or in some case, one of the things that I think we had talked about, similar to the manufacturing, cannabis manufacturing kind of thing, where there's an administrative review, doesn't require a hearing, but which is even less than the planning director hearing, which needs to be a scheduled notice public hearing. So yes, this is one of those, especially without the overnight boarding. I think that's usually the big distinction.
Good. Right. Let's see. Skip regular agenda items. Going on any subcommittee updates? I have one. So I was contacted by a group of citizens that are interested in some TLC for Ives Park. They're interested, say, hey, what's going on, and we'd like to see if there's anything that they can do to revitalize, maybe even fundraising and so forth. So I met with them, and it went good. I think there's some good positive energy there, and I'm going to have, hopefully Carrie can attend the next one, because I want to make sure that they have the correct information, because there's a lot of details and there's questions about, well, why are they doing this and why wasn't this done? And it's not, I told them, hey, I don't know all the details. I'm just working the broad parts. But and then Kathy will probably at some point join me in some of the information stuff that you sent me. So thank you for that, and I'll give you updates down the road. So I'm just glad that there's some people interested.
Yeah, I'll say I'm glad to hear that there are some people interested in carrying this forward.
Yeah.
Question that I didn't talk to you about this morning, this got interrupted. Were these people primarily concerned because they had seen the new pavement coming in through the middle of the green area for a piece down?
Yeah, there was a question about why are they putting a road down the middle of the park, right? And it's like, well, it's not exactly what it is. And they're like, well, who approved this? Why is this going? I said, I'll give you some, it's limited information, but it's not intended for a driveway, but it's for, I told them it's planned, it's by the planning department, and we'll get some more details on that.
Yeah, because I remember that the details were changed to accommodate the new Calder Creek pathway.
Correct.
And no one really saw that, so.
Yes, and it's a multi-use path, not a driveway.
Yeah, right.
Once the big driveway at the Veterans parking lot, the Veterans building, the Art Center, parking lot is closed, it'll look less like a driveway as well, because it won't actually be a driveway. It is a driveway for maintenance to go in there, but that's kind of the same way Regional Parks drives on the Joe Rodota and West County Trails to do their maintenance kind of a thing. Yeah.
Good. And then I'm also going to give them information. We had a presentation from a nonprofit that they were doing. There was Parks for Sonoma County. They have kind of nonprofit, and they were soliciting funds, and then they would use that. So I was thinking that maybe that might be something for them to consider. And then we were talking about, and then that way, if people want to contribute, I think there might be some people that might be interested in maybe not activities, but maybe contributing funding, and you never know. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and we're going in the same direction. Right. And that's all I have for that. And planning director's report.
Sure. First, I want to thank you for accommodating a very short meeting tonight. It is because we actually had a couple other items on the agenda that we pulled before publishing it because the city council does need this room for a special city council meeting at 7. We did actually have Sebastopol Little League scheduled to do their annual report, as well as a group of the Rotarians who are interested in doing some of the Ives Park or doing something for their centennial, so 100 years of operation in Sebastopol. It's one of the oldest in the state, I believe, and certainly the area. But that's coming up in a couple of years, and so they're interested in Ives Park, and I've spoken with them as well. That's all getting rescheduled for December 12th. So we will still have that, and then I'm thinking we will actually use that as just in terms of your upcoming meetings. To start to talk about park budgeting for the next year, since that would normally be in January meeting anyway. And so maybe have that be a little bit more, I'll have to talk with Chair Fernandez, but having that be a bit of a park focus for that meeting to get ahead of that one. We did actually hear back from the letter of interest that we had submitted, Jessica Hall, Ann Riley, and myself in their form of CUS, the California Urban Stream Partnership, for the Calder Creek project. We did hear back from the Department of Fish and Wildlife that we are being invited to submit the full grant, although it's a little tricky because we had done just the planning stuff. They're saying we're not eligible for that, but we can submit for it's planning and construction, and we don't need to do the whole construction. It's just a part of it, but we need to have matching funding for that. So we're working together to try to figure out, do we have the matching funding for that, and what would that be? Usually you start on the downstream portions of it. So that would be the portion closest to High Street, working back, and you sort of open up the capacity there, and then you can kind of work your way upstream. So they're doing some additional work and coming up with some rough construction numbers to kind of understand, because there are some retaining walls in that section, to see is that possible. So that's where we're kind of coming to the December meeting to talk about and think about the park budgeting. Hopefully we'll have some numbers by then. But that would be an 80% match, I believe. So that would be pretty huge. And there is in 2024, Sonoma County Ag and Open Space opens up their matching grant program, which is a 50% match, which we can use to match the others. So it's, it's trying to piece together all the funding, which is a fun part of the job, I tell you. But it's a little complicated at times, but we're lucky to have CUSP helping us with that, certainly. So more to come on that. We are about to release the request for proposals for a consultant to help us with the Sustainable Transportation Grant. That's the Caltrans grant that we got. I did meet with a number of folks in the community, including Paul, who wanted us to release it as an open RFP. So that is what we're going to be doing. Of course, we'll be inviting our on-call consultants who are often familiar with town to do that, and they'll be welcome to do that. But we'll be getting that out this week. I'm trying to finalize that. The Hotel Sebastopol, I think I had mentioned last time that they needed to do a lot merger of the two lots on either side of Brown Street for their PG&E complexities. We have that is now scheduled for the Environmental Review Committee, November 28th for that. That's the Environmental Review Committee is a department director level committee, and we need to notice the adjacent property owners. But it's usually about as quick as the last hearing you guys just had. So hopefully that goes smoothly. I don't think there's any issues. It's really a PG&E logistic at this point. And what else do we have, John? We do have boards and committee application period is open. And I believe we have Chair Fernandez and Commissioner Hanley, whose terms will be ending this December. So, and then we also have, I believe, 3 slots on the design review board. And because it's a 2-year thing, every year we have about half of the Climate Action Committee member seats up. So definitely, if you know folks who are interested in getting involved in any of those committees, or if you're planning on reapplying, definitely touch base with me. Be helpful to know, and we can get that. Make sure we have any assistance for you if you need your old application or anything like that. We did also have a call out for a citizen member to the Sonoma County Transportation Authority's bicycle and pedestrian countywide and bicycle.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
County Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee recruitment. So that closed at the end of October. We did get 3 applicants. So we are city planning department is working with city management to get that scheduled for a city council interview agenda item. And then the other kind of bike and pedestrian thing that I have to note on is SCTA, as part of their active transportation update, had a pop-up event at the Sebastopol Farmers Market on November 5th, which I attended. And we got a pretty good turnout as far as people providing input on Sebastopol specific bike and pedestrian plan. And they will be doing a couple more of those events throughout the spring and summer of next year. And then I've also been working with Carrie to schedule a time that the city themselves, or myself and maybe a few other people, can do a Sebastopol sponsored one to get even more input and such. And then last week, the city and a few members of our Climate Action Committee met with the new Bayrim program manager, where she introduced us to a few of the new programs that Bayrim has for water and energy conservation that are going to be releasing in January of next year, and then also updating kind of what they're doing as far as their programs this year. That information we are going to be we'll have on the website. So if you're curious on what kind of programs you can install at your house or help other folks save water and electricity and such. So that's all I have.
Okay, and then just for upcoming city council items, the December 5th meeting we're tentatively scheduled to have the hearing on the objective design standards. And so, Vice Chair Fritz, I may ask you to attend that. We're also going to try to get someone from the DRB who was on that subcommittee as well, just in case council has questions on that one. And then on the 19th, we tentatively would be doing the level of service and the Planning Commission work plan at that time. So those are tentative dates for that second one, but the December 5th, because that grant actually, those need to be adopted by the end of the year. The agenda setting committee for council knows that, and so that's the date for that one. And I think, and the other larger projects, the Canopy project, we have completed the administrative staff level review of the EIR. They are making those changes. I think we have one meeting this Thursday to clean up one of the sections that had some questions, and then it will be released for public review after that. And as noted, we'll schedule a hearing with the Planning Commission at some point. If it's not one of your regular items, because December 26th is one of your meetings, which we're assuming will need to be canceled or rescheduled to a different time. We may be working with you on that. So.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, go ahead, Paul.
I just had a question about the bicycle pedestrian. I know I got several emails that the survey is available online. Do you know how long that is going to be live, that survey, online survey?
I don't think they had a close date on it. I know that the public engagement part of the process kind of goes throughout, I think, to the last third of the project proposal, which needs to be or is done of February of 25. So I would imagine that the survey would probably end in the end of summer next year of 24.
Okay.
But I can reach out to SCTA and see if there's a hard stop on that.
Yeah, I'm just curious
Deadline.
if I need to like jump on that soon or not.
Right. And
The sooner the better.
Yeah, and the city has had a workshop with the consultant that was a week or so, a couple weeks ago, I guess. But definitely, if there are things that for the Sebastopol area in particular that you'd want, if you can always let John know, or let John and myself know as well. Like I said, he's had some conversations with folks from the Climate Action Committee and gotten some information from them already, their transportation group. And there is, Caltrans is also doing their ATP right now as well. So if there are areas along the state highways that they also have a survey out right now? So that would also be a good one to comment on. And I suspect theirs is probably not as long a comment period as the local.
Okay. You didn't mention a meeting in 2 weeks. Are we having a meeting 2 weeks from tonight?
That is the plan. It's November 28th. It's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So usually it's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving that gives people angst.
Yeah, no, I know. You said mentioned December 5th, so I wasn't sure if we were skipping.
Sorry.
next
Yeah.
one or-
Sorry.
or not.
Yes.
So we will have a meeting that one. Okay.
Yes, we are planning that night.
And then lastly, if the RFQ for the Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant goes out this week, what's the deadline for submissions on that?
So the overall schedule is to try to have someone by the end of January. Caltrans, I just completed the work they needed, or they just got back to me with a couple changes they needed yesterday. I got it to them same day. But they won't have the contract work done on their side for us to start the project till like end of January. So we do have some time. So I basically asked, can we do the RFP now anyway? They said, yes, but we can't reimburse you. I said, well, I don't need reimbursement because I'm,
Yeah.
we don't want to have anyone under contract until we're under contract with them. So it'll hopefully coincide nicely.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any other? Okay. Well, thank you. I will adjourn this meeting to the next meeting, which is November 28th. Thank you.